Keith McGowan here, the Outboard Dad, here to help you have a better boating experience. So today, we're going to get into this Mercury a little deeper here. We're going to show you what I have set up on my workbench. I'm going to show you some of the honing stones that I've worked with that older gentlemen have taught me over the years. And please like, subscribe, and my subscribers until October 13th will get a free used outboard motor buying guide. So it will be on Amazon for a $20 value. Very shortly, but I'm offering it now ahead of time, exclusive upfront first time offer. So what I did was I took my engine block here, and I'll show you what we did here on the bench, and I just put one bolt in it just to hold it into place so it doesn't move around, so I can get my drill in here and really start to hone away. Now some of you have probably seen this type of honing stones before, and it really doesn't take away material. You can break the glaze, so to speak, is what you'll hear people say. And you can do that, that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of that. Again, I had an old timer that taught me that, do you know why there's hash marks and why we have those marks in the cylinder wall? Do you know why we don't want to have glazed cylinder walls? Because it has to be someplace for the oil to stay, and it kind of hangs in all those little ridges. So even if I just do a standard piston, I'm going to go in with 100 grit, then 200 and 300. I'm not going to take off more than maybe 1/4 of a thousandth of an inch, but I'm going to have some grooves in there that are going to be a little bit deeper than just, you know, ball honing or just that kind of like it's almost like a brake hone just to break the glaze kind of thing. That's really not going to last very long. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. People do it. Your motor will probably run fine. Again, my motors I try to build for longevity, and these are things I was taught and learned over the years. So if you see most of my honing stones here, you can't even read the labels anymore. The boxes are all gridded up. But I've used these for years. On the inside I wrote 300, right? So these are 300 grit. These are what I use for my finishing stones, right? So I keep them nice and neat. My 200 and 300, I go 100 first to get it, if I'm grinding it out, to bring it at 10 thousandths or 20 thousandths over. But we put those aside. And then I have a lot of modified stones here where I've taken them and made some adjustments on them so that only the bottom gets honed when I have to get the bottom out. So, and then I have some newer ones that I use to start with because they're straighter. So if you think about it, while we're in there honing, these are called blind hole cylinders. And while we're honing, we can't go through the bottom. So if I took my honing stones and I put them in here, and I have a cylinder and I can go all the way through past, not completely past, just so the tops of the stones are still touching the bottom of the cylinder. And then I can go up. Now I'm gonna wear evenly, right? If I'm honing a car engine. But these are blind hole cylinders, so we can only go to the bottom. We can't stick out past that. So if I keep going up and down like this, the top of my stone doesn't get as much wear as the bottom of my stone. And what happens is now we end up with a tapered, and I've had motors come back from rebuild shops, and I've gone in with my dial bore gauge. If my previous videos you've seen where we're at with my dial bore gauge, and I'll go in and measure, and the bottom is not anywhere near it needs to be, and the middle is like 1/2 thousandth smaller than the top. And when you do that, your piston ring, right? So our piston ring has a gap in it, and we close that gap down to a minimum. I think it was like 29 thousandths on this motor. So if you could imagine that ring gap doing this every time that piston, I'm drastically showing you, but 1/2 thousandths every time, you're working those rings like mad, and that's not a good thing. So we're going to take some heavy grit stone first. I'm going to show you how we're going to put them up, set them up in our Sunnen AN 111 hone, and we'll start grinding away at this just a little bit at a time. Show you how we do that, and just take a little bit of material off. So what I'm going to start with is an older set. This one happens to have a double stone on it, and it doesn't have a wiper side. So I'm just going to put these in here. The teeth go towards the center, and then this grabs the teeth. And then when I crank this in or out, you can see the stones go out, right? Now when I get closer, I can do a tighter, with this I can make a tighter adjustment that just brings it out a little bit. So let's get this in there. We'll bring it out to the level it needs to be so that we're grabbing the cylinder. You hear that? How I just, so now I know I'm grinding a little bit, right? So I'm going to loosen it up a little bit more. I'm going to put this in my drill and just do a very nice light hone to see where we're at. I'm going to do each cylinder because these all three are damaged, and see how much we have to take off in order to make it cleaned up again so there's no scratches. Loosen it up a little bit here, put it in the next one. And again, this is an older set of stones. That's what I start with first because I don't want to damage any new stones. Spending a little bit of time in the bottom because again, it's a blind hole cylinder. So I want to make sure I'm getting the bottom as well as the top. Then what I'll do is another trick an old timer taught me is I'll flip these stones over and put them in backwards and run the drill backwards and go in and out a few times. And then we'll see where we're at. This one feels like it might be out of round. All right, that's enough now. Let's see what that looks like inside. Okay, so as you can see, we took away a little bit of material, not much at all. And we're already starting to clean up. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep measuring as we go, little by little. So as you can see, this is a bit of a process. It's going to take some time to go back and forth easily, measuring each time. So to be quite honest with my viewers, I may be quiet when I do this. I like to talk or else I wouldn't be on YouTube, but I have to really focus to make sure I don't go too big or too small. So we'll get into this a little further. We're going to continue on, but that's the basic premise for honing at home. So this honing head is actually the same head that's on the $20,000 Sunnen automatic machine. Now granted, of course the machine is going to measure, you can measure with it and it's going to be a little bit more accurate, but if you learn the tips and tricks, you can make really straight cylinders and motors that will last for many years to come. So we're going to continue on with this. We're going to have some fun, start ordering some parts soon, and can't wait to see you out on the water. And any comments that you have, and remember my used outboard motor buying guide, I'll have it with me in my next video. Ended up selling it to somebody, so I don't have it here in my shop. Limited time offer until October 13th for free for my subscribers. So please like, subscribe, and send me any comments you have, and have a great day, and we hope to see you out on the water.